Good afternoon. I'm Jackie Corasani. I'm the lead organizer of the PioPitch program and also PioBiz program now at Marietta College. I'm also the chair of the Business and Economics Department. Welcome. This is really exciting. I'm excited for you guys. This is the final round of the first business plan competition at Marietta College called PioBiz. Oh, yeah. Before we get started, I would like to invite Dr. Bruno to say a few words. You see, Dr. Bruno was really instrumental to make this happen, so it just makes sense for him to say a few words before we get started. Dr. Bruno, please.
You know, this, as Dr. Corasani said, this is a day I've been waiting for now for a few years. Originally, it struck me, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, that there's a problem in American higher ed these days, or at least some think it's a problem, in that not many students are willing to take a chance on majors in the humanities or the arts, or in some cases even the social sciences. And the rationale is that with the economy being the way it's been for the last decade or so, people really want to have an absolutely sure payoff when they graduate college. And it's hard to dispute that, but history also shows us that a lot of students have gone through institutions like Marietta College in a range of majors and gone on to be very successful. And so it was my hope at the time that perhaps we could come up with an entrepreneurship program that would help students realize, not just hear it from us, but realize themselves the value that they bring to any situation they might encounter. And that's really what I think a liberal arts education is all about. You're broadly educated, you can take information from one area, apply it to a new area, and you actually create the solutions to problems you didn't even know existed when you were a student, potentially. So I thought it would be interesting if we could get this thing off the ground and make it happen, and I kind of imagined at the time certain things like the equivalent of what became PioPitch, where we'd have a co-curricular piece where people would come in. There would be a curriculum, of course, and that's now been designed and approved by the faculty. There would be an internship piece, and as you know, the college funded several internships last summer for people who made a case that an internship that came without any pay would be helpful to their plans, their future entrepreneurial plans. And then ultimately there would be a PioBiz competition where we would send some folks out, some intrepid entrepreneurs out with the funding to do something here in town. And it also recognized that we need that in Marietta. And as an institution, we are a neighbor. We do try to help the town around us. And so I thought there were many benefits, not the least of which was we would attract distinguished alumni and friends who would serve as a panel and then be advisors to the groups that they've heard from going forward. It would help us keep some of our great alumni in town. It would help us bolster the business community in Marietta. But most of all, as I said, the idea was to help us inculcate in students the sense that they really do bring a lot to the table. And so I'm very excited to see this piece of the puzzle come together. When we first did PioPitch, I took heart because, as I've said to many people, anything at Marietta College that has Pio in the name has a pretty good chance of living on. And so I took that as a good sign. Here we are with PioBiz. I'm encouraged about this. I'm incredibly grateful to the many faculty members and staff members who have been involved in making this a reality. And Dr. Corasani has been the leader, but she'd be the first to say there are many others. Dr. Rosenstock, I see, is here. Many others on the faculty and staff who have been instrumental in making this a reality. So I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to see this program being launched today, and I thank all of you for being here to join us. Thanks very much.
Okay, well, as I said before, this is the last round of the first competition. So I wanted to give you a little bit of information on how this all came about. Last September, we sent an announcement out to all students. It went to your email box. I don't know, some of you may have deleted it, but it did. So, and we said, hey, come to an information session. And that was in September, the information session. I think we held it in October or maybe late September. And then that information session was followed by 2 workshops. The first workshop was basically designed to empower you, give you ideas, encourage you to find stuff to do, and kind of make you think about how you can start your own business. And the second workshop basically walked you through step by step through completing the business plan. Then we just basically left it up to you. Last month, well, once in a while I send an email and said, okay, what's going on? Are you busy? You know, stuff like that. So, last month we got 2 different proposals. So that was encouraging. We were expecting more, but 2 was a good start. And so we selected our 3 very distinguished external judges. I'm going to introduce them in a moment. And we wanted external judges because we wanted the faculty and staff to really be on your side, student side, help you out, and then external judges actually, so there won't be any conflict of interest or anything like that. So the judges went through, reviewed your business plans, and they all unanimously said that both plans were good enough to make it to the final round, which made us happy. Let me introduce the judges. Mr. Eddie is president and CEO of Eagle Manufacturing Company in Wellsburg, West Virginia. He holds a BS in petroleum engineering from Marietta College. And the list of his extracurricular activity is really long, so I chose a few. I hope you don't mind. Chairman of West Virginia Manufacturers Association, member of advisory board at the McDonough Leadership Center here at Marietta College, treasurer of Regional Economic Development Partnership, member of Federal Reserve Bank, this one excites me, Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond's Charleston Industry Roundtable. Oh, I'd love to know what's going on in those roundtables. Member of National Association of Manufacturers, member of West Virginia Economic Development Authority, and the list goes on. Our second judge, and this is just in alphabetical order, no other order. Your last name was first. Mr. John Lehman. John is the president and sole shareholder of Alliance Industries, Inc., a diversified industrial machinery manufacturer and specialty infrastructure services provider. Alliance has operations and offices all across the United States, and also at least in 2 other countries, Bogota, Colombia, and Beijing, China. And I heard that it's expanding. Mr. Lehman also graduated from Marietta College. He is currently the chair of the board of, McDonough Leadership Board, chairman of board of Washington State Community College, president of Citizens for Responsible Government. I like that one. Our third judge, Ms. Lori Strahler. Lori owns 4 McDonald's, yes, the restaurant, in this area. Not just owns, but operates. So you are really hands-on kind of owner, right? And she's also the president of Hadler Management Company, president of Tri-State Co-op, member of the Pittsburgh Region Leadership Council, president of Pittsburgh Region chapter of the Women Operators Network. Wow. And Lori is a strong supporter, obviously, maybe not so obvious, but Ronald McDonald House of Charity, and active partner in education with Marietta City Schools, and also on the board of health for the city of Marietta. All right, Gabby, are you ready? You want to come on down? Or up, actually, not down. Gabrielle Simmons. A junior, majored in psychology, and actually, somehow you're skipping your senior year and starting the master's degree in psychology. And she hopes to continue her education after Marietta College. She wants to specialize in the field of industrial organizational psychology, and she is already doing lots of consulting, right? That's what I heard. Consulting work for local organizations, including Firefly, a Spark of Hope, and Marietta in Bloom. Best wishes to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming out tonight. So I'm really excited to tell you about my business plan. It is called Gliding Through the GRE. So a lot of you probably don't even fully know what the GRE is. It is the Graduate Records Examination. which is taken by prospective graduate and business school applicants around the world. It closely reflects the kind of thinking that you will be doing while you're in graduate school, and it includes questions on verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and analytical writing. Now, professors and students, I just wanted to see if this scenario sounds at all familiar to you.
All right, folks, you have 20 more minutes and then it's pencils down.
Crud. All right, I'll skip this page, but I already skipped this page and half of that one. Jesus, at this point I'm hoping for a 26 with a curve that might be an F+. I wonder if I could have an extension. No, that's for papers, or is it? How do you guys know this?
All done.
How is that even possible? She's probably one of those bitches that gets straight A's, but whenever she takes a test, she's all like,
Totally failed.
oh my god, you're a virus. Is this because I missed a review session? Who wakes up before 1 p.m. on a Thursday? Okay, time to do the old stretch and peek. Just cracking the old vertebrae. Human beings are pathetic. I should be able to zoom. Whoop. Oh, the air is so warm in here. It's like sweaters. Jesus Christ, am I leaking? Why don't they make Old Spice for your face? Can you die from restless leg syndrome? People die in weird ways. I was reading about this guy that had a throat problem, so he used an enema to take alcohol rectally, and he passed out and died from 2 liters of sherry in his butthole. Whoa, come on, those are not Mississippis. There's gotta be a mnemonic device for this, but I don't know what a mnemonic device is. Alright, plan B, milk the answer out of the professor. For number 3, would it have to be something like this, or more circles?
This isn't high school, Mr. Payon. I can't help you.
Oh, well, thank you. F you. It's not my fault your job sucks. What if I just puked? Yeah, you can't fail me if I just straight up barf blast all over my test. Oh, just down the hatch, don't even look. No. Pull yourself together. I need a bathroom break. I need an excuse. I need to be excused. Excuse me. Albert Einstein and Thomas Edison were terrible students. You know, maybe I'm one of those latent geniuses. Dirtbag. And in like 10 years, I'm gonna blossom into a beautiful brain flower. Maybe I don't have anything to offer anyone. My fucking parents are gonna cut me off. Fuck! My friends are all gonna leave. We're in a recession. Pluto's not a real planet. I'm fucked. My life is over. Oh. Can I have an extension, please?
Then you might have test anxiety. There are 3 main causes of test anxiety. There's fear of failure, poor test history, and lack of preparation. And each one of these really applies to the GRE because you should never be afraid to fail. If you go in there with that kind of mindset, it's going to affect your performance. If you have poor test history, your GPA is not going to be as high as it needs to be for graduate school, so your GRE scores are really what you're relying on to get admissions to really look at your application. And then lack of preparation. That is the most common reason that people have test anxiety, and there is no reason at all to ever have that kind of feeling whenever you're going to take the GRE. The GRE has several materials that are out right now that you can look over, and it's questions that are exactly like you will be seeing on the exam. How can you beat test anxiety? You need to be prepared by developing good test-taking skills. Know the type of problems that you will be facing, take practice tests, and most of all, practice relaxation techniques. So why does it matter? Like, why should you be concerned about the GRE at all? Well, 30% of schools have a cutoff point, meaning if you don't score at a certain level on the GRE, they will completely disregard your application. 60% strongly consider the scores when determining whether or not to admit you, and then only 10% have little to no consideration for it. GRE scoring, it scores you on a scale from 130 to 170 in each section. The average GRE score is 302.2, and of course those are the numbers for the other sections specifically. But with that, if you're looking in to get to a prestigious graduate school, you are looking into scores in the upper 150s to 160s. So what is gliding through the GRE? It is a hands-on approach to learning in a classroom environment, which I know you all must have faith in, or else you wouldn't be at college right now. It's also a guide to getting an advanced degree, which will lead you to have a higher paying future employment, and there are lower unemployment rates associated with going to graduate school. This program uses specific psychological techniques to improve cognitive retention. And most of all, important to you students, it is free. I know how much you like that. Free pizza always draws more people here. It's also a way for colleges to look more appealing to prospective students. So not only is it helping the students, but it's helping the college as a whole. So who will be paying for this program if students aren't? The colleges will be investing in it. And if you're asking why would a college want to make a purchase like that? Well, having more graduates of the college accepted into graduate programs looks really good to prospective students. Students already attending the college will feel more confident about themselves, and that will increase their academic abilities overall, and it will help with student retention rates, and that is an issue that we are currently facing here at Marietta College. In 2014, we only had a 76% student retention rate for freshmen. And the methods used in this program to reduce test anxiety can improve students' overall GPAs. So all of these methods that you are learning to improve your test-taking skills will carry over to your other classes. What kind of competition do we have? Not much, seeing as we are the only program that exists that takes place in a classroom setting. The Princeton Review is the closest thing that will come to this, and they have a live online program that includes 24 hours of instruction, 8 computer adaptive practice exams, and 184 hours of online resources. So why not just buy that program? $799 for students to take it. Many students will learn better through face-to-face tutoring, and students will not only have access to practice tests and questions, but they will have a live instructor there to guide them through them. Who will teach the program? Students will be teaching other students. It is a similar type of program to the ARC, but what we do different is we are using specific psychological methods and research to help people retain the information better. Marietta College already has an amazing psychology department, and yeah, I know I'm a little biased, but we already have an amazing psychology department here. And not only will improving GRE scores help people get into graduate school, if you are in the psych department and you complete this research, that can also go on your application, and that will overall increase your likeliness to get into graduate school as well. Pricing and expansion. Now, the program would be $20,000 for Marietta College to purchase. With that, we are expecting 30 students to be taking the program. If you divide that, you realize that it's $666 per student, and that's a little bit over the cost that it's going to take for 1 credit hour for 1 semester. We are going to be having a year-round program. So it's the equivalent of taking a 3-credit class. It'll have the same time schedule, and we'll be doing it both semesters. So you're paying for a little bit over 1 credit hour, when in reality, you will be paying for you would be getting actually 6. If data can be collected that shows a significant increase in GRE scores following the program, it can be expanded to other colleges, and of course that price will vary per college that we go to. Is coaching effective? Now, although no research has actually been completed about coaching for the GRE, other standardized tests have shown that coaching is effective. The College Board states that most SAT coaching programs increase scores by 20 to 30 points. A professor named Jack Kaplan did a study that showed his coaching program raised scores by 70 points. With that program, he had a class of about 20, and 4 of those students raised their scores by over 100 points. US College Planning, they do ACT prep, and their program showed that participant scores increased by an average of 5 to 20%, which is about 2 to 6 points. But whenever you think about it, that could be the make or break between whether or not you are getting into the college or whether or not you are receiving a scholarship. So how can psychological techniques help? Most people don't typically associate psychology with business, even though they correlate so well together. For example, I've already used one of the techniques on you all. Those Mead and Good did a research project in which they found that reminding people about money and prices gives that person the feeling that they are more powerful because you associate money with a symbol of power. And so that makes you like me as a presenter more. This is actually a part of one of the things that I would like to do with this program, is I plan to advertise this all over campus, because in their study, they actually did it on an all-you-can-eat buffet, which I know is a little off topic, but by putting up signs around reminding them that you paid this much for the buffet, they were more likely to go back and get more food. So if we start putting signs up reminding people of how much they paid for this college that provides this program, they will be more likely to join. What else can this program bring? Empowerment. That is one of the biggest things that I'd like to focus on with this program. I would like to go around to the different local schools and let them know that they can achieve a higher education, that it's not unrealistic for them. I came from a local school in West Virginia that we had 124 students in our graduating class. Of those 124, only 10 went to college, and only 8 are still there. So what makes me qualified to design this program? I will be entering the Masters of Psychology program in the fall, where I will be focusing on industrial organizational psychology, and I will be able to complete research, and that I've already completed some already, having to do with motivation and perception of power. I also have a big business background after having completed multiple business consulting internships.
In your presentation, in the written presentation, you talk about the funding of this and how you're differentiating between what's existing on the market and what your program plans to do as far as how you do the study and using, for example, students and the work-study program.
Yes.
I wondered with that, you're using students and a, see how you say that, sole director as the lead, and a supervisor over the students.
Yes.
Would all 3 of them be paid through a work-study program?
I will be paying for someone else to be the supervisor with me. So.
Have you checked on that to see if this meets all the requirements for the work-study program?
That is one of the things that I specifically wanted to look into whenever I talk to the colleges. If not, I will find some kind of feasible way to go about that. But as of now, the work-study program they have here, tons of students don't use up the money that they're given for that. Students, if they meet the financial need, will be given $2,000 that they can complete through work-study. And many students just never get around to it, and so that money is set aside for that, but it's not used.
I was really impressed on your communication skills and how you talked about meeting face-to-face with your potential buyers, shall we say, of this program. My question for you is, I think there should be a concern on maintaining its integrity once it's sold, and I wanted to know if you have a plan in place on how you would do that, if you would stay on as an advisory type position, or what you would do to maintain that integrity.
I really hope that the people that I will hire for these positions will have that kind of integrity that I'm looking for. They will, of course, be going through different interviews to make sure that they're qualified and that I think they have the right type of quality that it takes to have these kind of like empowerment instilled upon other people, because you never want to have, I would never want an employee to make anyone feel like they're less than they are, or to make them feel like they can't achieve what they're looking for. I think there's too much of that in the world, and I know in West Virginia that's a big issue that we face, and that's a reason that a lot of the students I graduated with didn't go to college, was because no one ever told them that they could.
You say in your business plan you want to ensure that your employees are paid properly. How do you define properly paid?
We have a specific class here that teaches different things like job analysis, where I can physically go in and take place through job participation to see what kind of tasks they are completing, as well as I can interview people that are like subject matter experts in the field and just talk to my employees to make sure that the job that they're hired for is the job that they are actually doing.